Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. We are live. We were not live earlier for our show. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out after we're done here. But I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, like to say a big giant thank you to my moderators. You are the best to ever do it, and I could not do it without you. Today, we're going to be talking about it's actually a continuation of what are you doing, sir? It's a continuation. Like, see, well, what are you doing under the desk there, sir? Never mind. But it's a continuation of a continuation of something we've been talking about since yesterday. Of course, you guys know that President Donald Trump federalized the Washington. Did y'all hear that? That's scary. I'm scared. Anyway, President Donald, maybe we shouldn't be talking about this. President Donald Trump federalized the Washington, D.C. Police, and we're going to get into all of that. I'm going to show y'all a video of some Black men already starting to be harassed by Trump's now police department, I guess. And I will get into some of the things that they said to those gentlemen. But in the meantime, it's going to start thundering and stuff here, so I'm a little scared. But Donovan, how are you?
All right, I'm doing great. You guys, please bear with me. I am still going through some stuff. My Dallas Cowboys preseason didn't do too well. 21, I think it was 31. But it's our 30th year without a championship, and you know what that means. When the Dallas Cowboys don't win, America doesn't win. So it took 30 years for the league to catch up to us. So now, you know, the Cowboys could compete with people on their level. So we're gonna handle that. But in all seriousness, it is 3 o'clock here in the West Coast, and that means it's Demetra K time. We want to thank you guys for joining us. Have these great conversations that we continue to do. Like I said, you guys are half of the show. So we do appreciate you guys coming back. And if you guys want to continue to have these great conversations, there's ways you guys can do that. There's a scrolling banner at the bottom right now, and it says, please donate. If you would like to donate to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, cash, money order, all that other stuff, you guys can do that. And for those of you guys that have donated and continue to donate, that money is greatly appreciated as it keeps the host motivated to have these great conversations. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. Great content from Vicki Dillard, Brother Phil Scott, Demetra K, and the other contributors of the African Diaspora News Channel. One of the things that we are talking about today is also being talked about on the African Diaspora News Channel app, because deportations are not just happening here, and these extreme enforcement actions aren't just happening here in the United States. It's also happening in other white countries such as Britain, Ireland, Germany, France. As the Africans flee their great countries that you American Negroes know nothing about, you guys have no culture, you have nothing. The rules are being locked down in these other countries in regards to what Donald Trump is doing to young Black youth here in the United States as well, and currently in the Washington, D.C. area. So a lot of opinions about it. You guys have some of the greatest opinions that I think, because we learn from you guys, and I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Hello, Easy E, and yes, Al. I guess we'd be remiss in not mentioning that Dr. Danielle Spencer passed away. Some of y'all probably like, who is Dr. Danielle Spencer? Well, she played Dee on What's Happening. She was the snarky sister, if you will, that gave Raj and everybody else a hard time. Really cute and all of that. She was 60 years old. Sounds like she had some health issues for some time. And it sounds like yesterday she passed away, and we just learned about it today. So rest in love to her. And then once again, Easy E, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. King Noble, what's going on with you? blah, blah, blah. Brother James, how you doing? Y'all names are just kind of twisted around. I don't know why it's doing that, but G Code, how you doing? And Taz, Sister Laverne, and I think I've said hello to everybody. Okay, so let's get into it for the sake of time. All right, so as you guys know, President Donald Trump has decided to take over the Washington, D.C. District of Columbia's police department. He's also sending out National Guards and everything because he's like, listen, the crime is out of control here, right? And he also told the homeless, you need to beat it, right? You got to get the hell up out of here is basically what he said. And so sounds like last night, Trump's army, if you will, went out in them streets and started to gaffle people up. Per his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, she basically said that they sent out 850 officers and other agents. They made 23 arrests, some homicide, gun charges, drugs, fare evasions, and, of the like, I guess, other things. So some brothers was hanging out at home, and this happened.
Y'all stay in that trouble? You got your ID on you, Chip?
Well, no, I live right here.
Okay, cool.
It's a cigarette.
Alright.
Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keeping everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal search that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like
No.
Code 3, anything like that people are putting up? All right, so yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together for 7 days and going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. Right? So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law, so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into there's multiple agencies of somebody, there's a shooting and things like that. So there's extra hands as well, right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a joint or something like that, all right?
I only asked because when you walked up, at the moment you walked up, you only had eggs.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in the air, right? And you're the only guy that had something lit in your hand, and I didn't flashlight you, so I didn't realize it was just a cigarette. So that's on me. I appreciate you understanding and not getting me.
So let me remove them. As you saw there, that was some brothers hanging out, sounds like at home, just, listening to music, and they turned that off quickly, right? As the agents showed up. And as the agent said, hey, basically per Donald Trump, we are out here making sure there's no violent crimes, just kind of informing the public of certain things. Now, originally, God, this weather is nasty. The guy asked him, was the reason basically why you came up to me. And he was like, oh, we smell weed in the air, but they confirmed that he was smoking a cigarette. But again, he told them, you can't be doing smoking and drinking in public, which seems like they were at home, right? Sitting on the porch or whatever. So basically it started, and that's further confirmation as to who they're really looking for, right? Because I wonder how many white people or anybody else was sitting on their porch at home and then had the agents come up to them and say, hey, what you smoking, what you drinking, right? Or what you doing? Or Donald Trump told us to do this, that, and the other. So the other thing that I found to be kind of problematic is that when he asked the brother, oh, y'all haven't heard? Y'all haven't heard any? They said, no, we haven't. It sounds like maybe he said, follow the news or something like that. And said, no, I think one of them said yes. But see, we got to start paying attention as well as to what's going on, because that's happening right there in their own city. And they are just clueless as to why those officers are going up to them. Now, I guess being a black man in America, that's not rare, right? To have a police officer just come up to you and say and do whatever. But the fact that Trump made that announcement yesterday, and then last night they sent all those agents out, yeah, it's going to get worse, right? And of course, Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, was up there today justifying all the things that they found. And so as I'm listening to her, I'm like, yeah, they're going to, continue to look for stuff so they can justify Trump's actions, because we know that crime in DC actually has trended down to the tune of about 35%. So not any crime on the rise, but that's not to say there's no crime taking place. So I want to see what you guys have to say about the video that you just saw. And is this the beginning of the end or what? Donovan, did you get a chance to see it?
I did. I'm still working these technical problems. I don't know what's going on with this computer. But Colors. How many of you guys remember that movie? Colors. Sean Penn, the great Robert Duvall. A lot of stars were in it. Happened here in LA, on the LA side, California side. We used to get this stuff all the time. Not me, I wasn't involved. But that used to happen over on the West Side all the time. What was in the past is nothing new. Everything that we are experiencing from white supremacy, there's nothing new under the sun. So now, here we are, having these black people, excuse the noise, my dog brought this stupid ball in. Here we are, Donald Trump has proposed this in a federal zone, and yet, what are the Democrats doing about it? As long as it's harassing black people and doing all this other stuff, doesn't seem to me. I don't see AOC in front of any cameras, Demetra, hollering and screaming about the injustice of this. But let it be an immigrant. Oh my gosh, they're innocent people. They haven't done anything. These people are sitting in front of their homes, doing absolutely nothing. And these police officers who should be out there fighting crime in the real public, not the residential areas, in the public, are out there harassing black people. Now, I know a lot of you guys will say, well, see, y'all the one that voted for Trump. See what y'all get. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if it's Nancy Pelosi. White supremacy is white supremacy. So it doesn't even matter. But I'm not surprised at any of this, and I expect to get more of it. The question is, are we going to react the same way we did in the past, or are we going to do something different this time? That's the question.
Guess what? My power went out. But guess what else? My generator held up, y'all. It just came back on, but that is so crazy. What's really going on? This weather is really out here tripping. So y'all forgive me. I'm a little nervous. I hate bad weather. Anyway, let's get into the comment section. And Sydney, how you doing? It says First Amendment violation. So you talking about the right to assembly. Yeah. As Sister Tracy said as well, they're sitting at home just chilling and they walking up to people's houses. They're not hanging out, in the public square or doing something they're not supposed to be doing. They're at home. And they're walking up to him, right? So it's almost like they're out there trying to find stuff. And then he says, oh, yeah, we smell marijuana or whatever. It's like, did you really? Because it's a cigarette, So anyway, skipping down, Twyla, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Easy says, walking up to people doing nothing, asking for ID. Yeah, it's like, I'm at home. Why do you need an ID? I'm not in a public square. I'm at home. Like, I got to carry that in my back pocket or my pajama shirt. What are we doing? And Brother James says, Minister Farrakhan said what's happening in the Middle East is happening over here in America. Oh, absolutely. And Vince Styles, I hope I said the right, says, I warned black people for years to leave America, but they want to stay. You had your opportunity to leave. And African Native, how you doing? Says, I just saw someone that got rolled over by a truck a while ago. What? Says, dead body covered by police, white tar, very sad. Well, yes. Peaceful journey to them and condolences to their family. Rex, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Tracy says, stop the violent crimes. I guess government should be shutting down. You crazy. I know I've been seeing a whole lot of jokes. Goddess, how you doing? Says, oh, hell no. Back to Black Codes 5.0. Well, yeah, they said that. If they see, I think it's 9 or more youth hanging out, then, gaffled up you go. So, yeah, that's definitely Black Codes. Let's see. Mike, it says, welcome to America. G-Code, what's going on with you? Harassment? Yep. But is it really? If they've got the, green light from the president himself, right? I mean, we know it is, but of course it'll be justified. Bogani says, I thought weed was legal in DC. It is, right? And so there was another part of that video. I cut it because it's a little bit too long, where the officer was like, yeah, there's certain amounts you can have, this, that, and the other. So he was kind of, really trying to have a conversation with them at that point, because it's like, yeah, there's nothing to see here. And these guys are asking questions like, what are you doing? And Brother Don, he says, this is nothing but pure harassment. Yep. And Laverne said he's not bothering anybody down. And Braided Girl, he says they want Black people to change the way they move. Yeah, and rightfully we should. But in that particular situation, they weren't doing anything. They're just hanging out. Hold on, Donovan. Let me turn my alarm off.
All right. Now that we got rid of Demetra, we could take this show where it really belongs and where it really needs to go. You Negroes need to get. No, I'm joking. I finished it. It's just kind of interesting how, we are put in the same exact positions and we have the same answers. Oh, we're not doing anything, whatever. How are we going to react to all this? Are we going to react the same way our forefathers did and the four people did? As Malcolm X, I believe, said this, as long as these people think you're not going to do anything, they're going to continue to mess with you. So that is why if you got a stick and I got a stick and I walk up to you, we have some understanding here, right? We know that if this thing goes left, there's going to be some violence on both ends of the spectrum, right? So there's a lot more effort in communicating and talking, because you're talking the same language. So Demetra's back. All right, everything's cool?
Everything's cool. When the power goes out, everything resets. So forgive me for that. Hopefully everything is all right from this point. Okay, moving right along. Silver Fox, how you doing? Says Black Mass Incarceration 2.0. Absolutely. Take it again, Donovan. I'm sorry.
Yes, the gods must be smiling on me. Anyway, let me get to some of these comments here, you guys. Excuse me if I skipped your thing. And by the way, I can't respond. My keyboard is out. I don't know what's going on, but I think they're on to us. King Noble says, Donovan, the last time the Cowgirls won the Super Bowl, Tupac Shakur was getting ready to release All Eyes on Me. I know. I was 25 years old. I was a young man the last time the Cowboys won. Cowboys are an accident waiting to happen. Go Pack, go. And so on. So let's skip all those. The Chiefs going to take it. Yeah, with referees' help. And Jay DeMason 2940 says, Donovan, Saadiq, do you play football? No, I don't play football. I'm a basketball person. I'm way too little to play football, but my brother played. So Salama 1951 says, I remember the 1970 Cowboys, real Cowboys names, and they were rough, tough, and dangerous. Yes, the Roger Staubach, the Tony Dorsetts, the Randy Whites, the Hollywood Hendersons, the Drew Pearsons. Can I go on and on and on? So let me skip down a little bit. Easy E says, I'm going to tell mama. He quotes, rest in peace, D. Yeah, she's gone. JJ Wickham says, brothers and sisters, just like yesterday, and I credit what Sister K showed Minister Farrakhan, the 2 warnings. Exactly. I'm going to say hello to Miss Delgado, Tracy. Good to see you. Jersey Rick, good to see you. Jay Wilhelm, again, good to see you. Brother Mike Nice. Twyla, good to see you. Sydney said First Amendment violation. Yes, it was. And that's another thing, you guys. Too many of us don't know our basic citizen rights. We don't know our basic citizens' rights. In a residential area, a police officer has no business asking you sitting in front of your house for your ID. They know that, but do you know that? Now, if you're walking down the street in a residential neighborhood, they have to have articulate suspicion or whatever it is. But just to come up to somebody, whatever, I would have told the guy, get off my property. You don't even have to speak to these people at that point. So we got to know our rights. And here's the thing, Tracy, when a lot of people say weed is legal, it is legal in your house. Do you know how many people are catching cases here in California because they're at the park watching their kids play and they're smoking weed openly and they're getting ticketed? They're getting charged. Weed is legal in your home for your own personal use. There is no law that says you could smoke weed out in the open public. And that's where a lot of people, the ignorance are people getting caught up. Why would anybody be riding around in their car with weed in their car, and then the cop has to weigh it and see how much, you know, you have, because if you're transporting it, there is a certain limit that they really can't charge you. But how many people actually have the limit that the cop is looking for? Then you give them reason to search for more stuff and get you caught up, because now, even though you have the legal limit of the weed, right, or the paraphernalia, whatever you want to call it, now they're going to harass you to get you another charge, to get you upset. This is how they're setting people up. And the reason I'm saying that, and I'm not an expert, but I have a family in law enforcement, and they say this is what goes on. When they can't necessarily get you for like the weed thing, that is the open door to get you for other things, especially in your car, you know? So all this legal stuff, it's legal to buy. It is not legal to smoke in the open public. That's why you can't go to venues and like openly smoke that stuff. You know, it's legal. You can't go through TSA with weed in your luggage. You know, it's the ignorance of us not knowing what is actually going on. So yeah, Sliver Phoenix, I believe that is, says Black Mass Incarceration 2.0. And let me scoot down a little bit farther. I can't respond to you guys, but at Valerie E91, the federal officers can only be there for 30 days without Congress approval. Yeah, okay. You know, I'm not sure, but not sure about that, but I'll look that up. I mean, not saying you're lying, but like I said, I'll Google it. I'll Google it on my own, because I know that if you're a federal officer, there's plenty of federal officers, they can rotate them in. So the 30 days, yeah, it's a technical type thing, but you could rotate a new 30 guys in. It wouldn't even matter. The video clip is a modern day repeat of 1925, Lena Lena. Big Dog 9935 says young black men film and sue the heck out of them. Well, see, here's the problem with that. Remember, you're on federal grounds. Yes, you're a citizen. Trump has now made, and Congress has now approved these measures to go on. So how can you sue if it is a legal measure for the president to do? He could maybe sue the officers, but the chances of winning that is almost slim to none. How many of you guys have ever been to an air show or been on a military base and you're non-military? The military could go into your car, confiscate everything that's in that car, right? And you're a civilian. I've got rights. I've got rights. Not on a military base, you don't. You have no rights. They even put a sign up there that tells you, once you're on this military base, federal land, you are subjected to the base commander rules and regulations. See, and a lot of you guys that are civilians, I get it. You guys are individuals. You're thinking, hey, life and liberty and all this other stuff like that. But now we're getting into the technical of the federales, okay? The federal rule, because now you're not on necessarily public land. You're on federal government land, right? Which it's a little bit different. It's kind of like being at a park, and let's say the park closes at 10 o'clock at night. If you are caught on the park after 10 o'clock at night, the city could either charge you for a crime, trespassing, or they won't. But technically, they can charge you for trespassing because the sign says that it's closed at 10 o'clock. We've got to know our basic rights. Tracy says AOC will speak if reparations are involved, then she can claim her blackness. Yeah, that's true. Empress Sunlight, good to see you. Good evening, mods in chat, she says. D. Jameson says the spiritual aspect of racism was written, that his children are going to be taken into bondage. Those calamities and sorrows are going to pass, and his children, blacks, will rule the world in the end. Kevin Clark says, yes, they can only be there for 30 days. You know, and I'm not disputing that, but what I'm saying is he can rotate another bunch of federales in for 30 days. And that's the technicality they can do. And how I know that is when I was in the reserves, when I worked with the reserves, even though the unit was activated, they rotated them. So the unit was in Afghanistan for an extended period of time, over a year, but they rotated the troops in, and that was their loophole to get out of the rule, you know. Lena says, white supremacy still alive and breathing. King Noble says, Sean Penn made me want to punch him in the face when he played Pac-Man in colors. Yeah. Looked like Robin De Niro when he's doing the hair thing. Trenton Make says, okay, so now are the Democrats going to the streets like they are for illegal immigrants? Trenton, thank you for saying that. Do you guys see the difference in the response to the party of Black people, which is the Democratic Party? Do you see how they respond when Blacks are in need of assistance? Silence is what we get. Okay, Demetra is back. Let's see what she has to say. Did they shut you down? Did my petition go in? Did the cop come up to the thing and say, hey?
No, actually, that was my father's doctor, and I had to do some straightening. So sorry about that. I had to take the call, so forgive me. I don't even know what you were saying because you were on mute, but I'm just looking at the comments. I was like, oh my gosh, what is he saying? So I'm sorry, you guys. I completely apologize about that. So what were you saying? I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt.
I was just reading the comments. So we're just reading the comments. But I really started going on a rant about the weed and stuff, how people say weed is legal. But I was trying to show them that your weed is legal in certain states, but you can't openly smoke it in public. That's where a lot of the stuff, people are getting confused and stuff and how they do that. But everybody's got their opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know nothing about weed because I don't smoke it. Never have, never will. Nothing against anybody who does, but I mean, it's just pertaining to what we saw today. Those guys were at home, right? So even if they're smoking weed and it's, you know, the legal amount, what's the big deal? Again, the cop says, oh, we smell weed in the air, but it's like, okay, logically speaking, you're walking down whatever it is you're walking down. We're sitting on the porch. If we are smoking weed and we don't have like a whole bunch of it, so what, you smell it? So what? You know, and you coming up here asking me for my ID or whatever the case is. So it sounds like they were doing a lot of reaching around. And perhaps he didn't know he was being recorded, but he flat out said, hey, you know, you ain't heard? Trump told us to come out here and make sure the violent crimes are like, well, did you see any violent crimes going on here? You saw Black men hanging out. Now I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get to the comments. I went all the way to the bottom, so y'all forgive me. It's all right to hang out, but as I said yesterday, be about doing something. Be about doing something. I know it's night, maybe you're off work or whatever, but you might want to go in the house and pay attention to the news because, as they said, hey, we didn't hear, right? And Trump is right there in their city, had a big old press conference talking about basically what he was going to be doing, right? He's going to be weaponizing the popo on, let's keep it a buck, Black people, because whenever they say thugs, tough on crime, and, you know, all the other stuff they were saying, they talking about Black men and boys, right? So, yeah, let me see.
Yeah, and I was also bringing up the fact that, like, they're on federal land, right? And I use the analogy of being on a military base. Now, Demetra has a lot of experience about being on a military base. Now, Demetra, when you were on a military base as a civilian, do you have any rights once you pass that gate?
I mean,
you have your basic rights, right?
Yeah, I would imagine not.
Right. So a military base is federal jurisdiction, right? Even though you've got American people living in the DC area, that is federal jurisdiction. So if Congress has approved it and Donald Trump has approved this policy of harassing Black people, it's a legal thing that they can do because you're on federal land. You have no, you could try to sue, but the chances of it, it's like being on a military base. They have a sign, right? Remember when you used to come on the base? You are subjected to the rules and regulations of the base commander.
Well, as Brother Sidney said as well, they do have First Amendment rights. You know,
no, they have it, right? Yeah. You could go to court, which would most likely be thrown out, waste of time because you're on a federal. No, I'm not saying you don't have that. But what I'm saying is what Donald Trump is doing, even though it's wrong in everybody's eyes, he can do it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you're subjected because you're on federal grounds to the rules and regulations of that federal ground.
And does the federal constitution apply to federal grounds as well?
It does. It does. But again, DC, and a lot of people don't know this, I looked it up earlier today, in the incorporation of the making of DC, which is the headquarters of the United States of America, it's where, you know, our capital is, there's specific laws in DC that is totally different outside. And by the way, DC was made by slaves, built by slaves. But they have certain jurisdictions within that parameter that's different than as if you're in a state. I'm not saying you lose your this right, you're losing that right. What I'm saying is, if you look into the history of DC and the rules and regulations governing DC, it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Okay, so because I just want to clear this up, because I know there's probably some other people confused, because on one hand you said, for lack of better words, that, you know, because it's federal and Trump is in control, kind of like laws don't apply, you don't have any rights, but then they do, so which is it?
No, they have rights, but what I'm saying is DC, it's because the way it was built and the way it was founded and stuff like that, the way they did it, the laws that apply to it, certain things aren't there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you don't have any rights. That ain't what I'm saying. But let's say you say, well, I have a right to smoke this. Maybe not in DC. You got to look at the rights that they have different.
Why aspects. Is DC different though? I'm confused. Because so do they have their own set of constitution, their own laws?
No. They have their own set of rules in DC. It's not a state. It's not a particular. You have citizens there. It's government land. It's federal land.
So but I think I hear what you're saying. So we're clear. Mm-hmm. The Constitution covers all. Now we know different states and cities, they have their own little, you know, laws or whatever. However, the Constitution is the Constitution.
Correct. But just like being in the military, just because you're in the military doesn't mean you're not subjected to the Constitution. You still have the constitutional rights.
Right. But if you have constitutional rights, then that means that it needs to be followed from the law as well. It needs to
be followed to the law of the ladder. But like when you used to go on the base, they used to try to throw you off. They could go into your car. They can do whatever they want when you're on federal ground. It's like if you're on an Indian reservation, same thing there. You have constitutional rights on an Indian reservation, but at the same time, they have different laws that might be, if you want to challenge them, you can challenge them. But again, they have different regulations, basically. Not saying, it's all I'm saying is you have to read it. It's different. I was reading it earlier today. They have some stuff in there that's pretty wanky.
Sunday says, do we see, and how you doing? Says, do we see the lack of response from the Democrats? How many more times must we let them play in our faces? I know there's a response going out. They're basically saying how these mayors, black mayors, are being attacked and things like that. But I'd rather them have the conversation as to, is there some truth to what Trump is saying in regards to how those cities are run? And there's some truth. I'm not saying that he should be going in there like Rambo and gangbusters or whatever the case is, but that's the conversation they need to be having. And again, I apologize. And Kevin, and thank you so much for that. Yeah, everything is well. You know, when my dad's doctor called, he's 2 hours behind me. I have to answer. Bruce, how you doing? Says, most people just want to live in peace. Yep. Billion Godson, how you doing? Skipping down to everybody have not seen. Sydney says, don't smoke in front yard, go to the backyard. There you go, right? But per what Donovan's saying, even your backyard ain't safe. Blueberry Hill says, Trump is seriously mentally unstable. I would say so. Ursha, how you doing, Ursa? Let's see. Fair use, what's going on? He says,
Joe Biden wasn't.
Let me get this. He says, where can we get the paperwork that we remain silent? Prince of Judah, how you doing? Says, Trump only wants to do the census to see how many whites versus black people in the U.S. Well, yeah, and that we should know that too, right? But I think they kind of already know. Yes. Damien, how you doing? Says, black people ain't the bulk of what's getting deported, though. No, we're not. I would say we're not. That guy McFly, how you doing? Says, Trump will use any distraction he can to avoid the disasters he created. That's what the word on the street is. Macman, how you doing? Says, the Gestapo is here. Demetrius, correct. If you are doing constructive tasks, it lowers your exposure. Yeah, be about some business. Like, for real. This is the time, if never before, to really be doing something. Lena, how you doing? Says, Black Americans, it's time to wake up. We are being purged. Yeah, that ain't nothing new, right? That's kind of always been a thing. And yes, Brother Sidney, Congress hasn't approved it yet. So yes, Journeyman, how you doing? Said, no, it's still unconstitutional. Stop the BS. Brother Don says, false equivalency. Donovan, they talking to you. Bob Law, how you doing? Says he basically turned DC into a military base. You don't have rights. You do have rights. It's not a military base. You have rights. So, because basically what y'all saying is, oh, because he's federalized the police, right? He hasn't federalized DC. It's the police. And listen to what y'all saying, like for real. And I don't even know the law like that or anything, but I'm saying if he's federalized the police, he hasn't federalized Washington, D.C. So what y'all are saying is you don't have rights now. That doesn't make any sense. Now we know, of course, the black men and women in America, yeah, we really don't have rights, but there are rights, right? The Constitution is, I guess, all-encompassing, even though I know a lot of it don't pertain to us, but just for the sake of argument, because he's federalized the police don't mean that he took your rights away, even though he probably would want to. That's not what happened.
Yeah, correct. But what I'm basically saying is it's like this, okay? And I'm going to be as quick as I can. It's like the Second Amendment. There's this constant pull and push with the Second Amendment, right? The Second Amendment is specific to the Constitution. It says you have a right to bear arms. But yet in certain states, especially here in California, they put up all these regulations, right? I still have those rights, but now they're putting a little bit of this, taking that right away, taking this right away. The Ninth Circuit here in California just ruled unconstitutional for California to do a background check for me to buy ammunition. There is nothing in the Constitution that says you have to know, the government has to know and restrict me on how much ammunition I have to buy. That's what we're saying. It's wanky. There's certain things in the law in DC. Yes, you still have those rights, but they've infringed on them in certain situations. That's basically what I'm saying.
Big Pill, how you doing? Says police have no rights to stop and search any vehicle without probable cause. That is correct. Flash Cloud, how you doing? Says exactly. Once you're on military grounds, you are subject to the UCMJ, even if you are a civilian. Yes, but Washington D.C. is not military grounds. It's not. The Orange Pill Nurse, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Says Republicans have unleashed military feds and even parked police on black people for fake high crime and threatening more black cities. I remember folks said Dems always fear mongering about GOP. The Dems are fear mongering a lot. The GOP is all of that, but guess what? They're all about being tough on crime because that whistles to other people who are not black that, hey, I got you. I'm gonna make sure you're protected from them. But I hear what you're saying though. Skipping down, Easy says, anyone remember the Red Dog? Yep, unit in ATL back in the early 90s. A police tactical team given immunity to fight war on drugs were notorious for stealing dope money and framing people. Yes, and you know, the CJ Davis, who was ahead of that unit, she's now in Memphis. They call them the Jump Out Boys. That did what they did to Tyree Nichols, so she's there in Memphis now. But yes, I'm very familiar with that. Mel, how you doing? Says DC is federal. Okay. Lady Diana, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just skipping down GM South, what's going on with you? Says, but my reparations, right? Michelle, how you doing? GT Parker, what's up? He says, sounds like black folks need to get the hell out of DC. Get the hell out of America altogether, right? Lion Pride, how you doing? Says DC District of Columbia. However, every state has their own laws as well as adhering to federal laws within limits. Exactly. Yes. John says, fun fact, Donovan is correct. All cases caught in DC are federal cases, which is based on a point system with 85% minimum time to be served. That's Fed time in general, though. No matter where you sentence at Fed time, that's Fed time, 85%. So not sure if it's a DC thing, but I know if you get caught up in Texas or California on the Fed charge, it's 85%. That's as far as I know. The Outsider Sports, how you doing? Says weed is not federally legal anywhere. That's what people aren't understanding. Correct. It's a state thing, but it sounds like there, you know, you can have a certain amount, and Trump and them are discussing it, classifying it as something else, but hasn't happened yet. So yes. Brayton, how you doing? Says we know that LA I'm sorry, Los Angeles mayor is protecting illegal criminals. California is petri dish. Is a petri dish rather. Yeah, she is definitely doing that. So let's see. Tracy says Trump said he was going to be a dictator. Where is the confusion? I don't get it. Right?
Wait a minute. Answer that. Biden said if you don't take this jab, you're going to get fired. If you don't let the, Tracy, what's the difference between dictatorship? How can you say Trump is a dictator and then Biden did some things that were dictated?
That's not what she said. She was just saying he said he was going to be that. Where is the confusion? So she wasn't saying, yeah, she was saying where is the confusion?
But again, where is the dictatorship though?
The orange pill nurse says, don't ask Dems for help. Now y'all said they was pandering and race baiting and y'all voted for the couch. Enjoy convicted felon in chief. Well, what was Biden doing? What was Obama doing? What were they doing? They were big time Democrats. What were they doing for Black Americans? Biden is the author of every major and minor crime bill. What did he say? Since 1976 or something like that. So with that, there's the author. He was voted in, and the orange pill nurse. I'm assuming you voted for Biden. Y'all voted him in, knowing doggone well what he said. He was the one running around talking about they gonna hit your mama and your your kids over the heads and stuff. And then of course, Bill Clinton, what he did with the 3 strikes law, and Hillary was his wife, and she's the one that called them predators, and they need to be brought to heel and all that other stuff. So that was done on the Democrats. So, I hear what you're saying. Ain't nobody asking Democrats for help. You know why ain't nobody asking Democrats for help? And I'm saying this in love because the Democrats can't do nothing. They can't even help themselves. Hell, they ran from Texas to other states to avoid voting. The Democrats are a completely defunct party. As we speak right now, the Democrats are defunct. They cannot help themselves. So who is asking the Democrats for help? Right now, the Democrats are doing is, freaking people out. Oh, see this, that, and the other. But you know what? If the Democrats was really about that life, they should have listened to people when they said, we don't want mass immigration. We don't want men in women's sports. We ain't with all the LGBTQ things, stuff. And I'm not saying in general, I'm just saying the way they was doing it, right? We're not for all of that. We're not for the mass deletion of babies disproportionately in the Black community. See, they couldn't help themselves because they took everybody else as a joke. And here they are. And you got your Cory Bookers, Hakeem Jeffries, and all them standing up there 25 hours and they breaking all these records, yipping their yapper, but they ain't doing nothing for nobody. So who is expecting the Democrats to help us? And who is asking them to do so? And whoever's asking them to do so, who believes that they actually have the power to do anything? I'm asking you those questions, and I'm asking in love. Skipping down, Lillian, how you doing? Says minorities and island Africans stop using the word Black for benefits. Okay. Betty, how you doing? Says every time they stop, you file federal lawsuits, keep them coming. Okay. I'm just reading it. Slim, how you doing? Says he's just scared someone is out to get him, and that's true. And his name is God. There's nowhere to hide. Now, come on now. Come on. Noki, how you doing? Says stay out of the way. Perfect. Number one. Yeah. Be finding something to do. I promise you, when you're productive, then you're less likely. I'm not saying you won't, but you're less likely to be getting in trouble, having somebody running up on you. Right now, you should be able to sit on your porch, and shoot the breeze or whatever. You should be able to do that without the po-po running up talking about, can I see your ID? Why? Why do you need my ID? Did you see me doing something? Do you see me doing a crime now? What they should have did was keep it pushing. Now, I will say this. The officer seemed like he was cordial. They weren't really with the stuff. Now, they could have been, but I think they realized that they were caught profiling, people who were at home. So they were nice to explain, hey, this is what's going on, 7 days. We got to crack down or whatever the case is. But, yeah, be finding something to do. Philip, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hi, Q, what's going on? It says the U.S. is a crazy country that legalized weed by failing to stop, and Americans consume more than 90% of the world's weed in Thailand, which followed the United States to legalize weed. And is that true? 90%? I don't know. I'm just asking, is that true? And this guy skipped down, you guys. RJ, how you doing? It says Washington government of the District of Columbia S. Williams, how you doing? Says one of many reasons why Black mayors and top police officers don't crack down on crime, especially the drugs, is because they're in on it. They know exactly where drug houses are, yet drugs flourish. And I always say that as well. It's city sanctioned genocide. It's city sanctioned because we know that for the longest they've been trying to get rid of Black Americans, have they not? By all kind of things. Slavery didn't work. Jim Crow didn't work. Not really working. Eugenics didn't work. So in my mind, there's no doubt that they're saying, well, they pew-pewing each other. They slanging dope to each other. Let them do it. Because maybe they'll take themselves out and we don't have to do it. So you're on to something.
And could I add to that? Isn't that a part of the gentrification of a Black neighborhood? You make it as violent as possible, as degraded as possible, and then the developer comes in there and buys the land, pennies on the dollar. They put a $6 billion stadium in the heart of traditional Black neighborhoods in Inglewood, Watts, Carson, California. And all the Black people were public domained out of their homes, the ones that didn't want to sell. And then that was the start and the rise of homelessness in Los Angeles.
LG, it says, this is my ancestors' land. I want it back and I'm not going anywhere. I get what you're saying. I'm not, I'm just saying some people are just like, I'm over it. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of like one of those people. I'd love to stay here, but I'm not going to stay if things don't get better. Margaretina, how you doing? Says, prefer this over Kamala any day. Tyrone, he says, boy, too bad Trump can't be this enthusiastic about rent control and those private firms buying up everything. Come on now.
Yeah,
West Avenue.
John Quett Public says, fun fact, Brother Donovan, tell the people who protected the poppy fields. Little known fact for you civilians. One of the first things we did when we went into Afghanistan in the northern fields, troops were paratrooped into the airfields and they were stationed to protect those poppy fields. That is a fact. That is a fact. In Afghanistan, one of the major duties of the military was to protect those poppy fields. What is a poppy field? It is one of the main ingredients in cocaine, right? So.
Bonita, he says, if you do the crime, you do the time. Yes, I totally agree. If you do the crime, you should do the time. But you should not be sentenced to something you did not do. And if it's been proven that you didn't do it, you should be let out. Y'all need to spread the word, not saying you necessarily the Kamala, okay? If I'm proven innocent, let me out. Don't be talking about, oh, well, you filed your paperwork too late and, all that other stuff. But yeah, how you doing? Marcellus, how you doing? Yes, Laverne, we have no friends. Marcellus says, when I was in school in DC, the elementary class had a safety patrol squad to make sure students could cross the street for some youngin' got hit by a parked bus. What? A parked bus? Okay, Carl Hood, how you doing? Says, remember he said that the January 6th domestic terrorists were not there to hurt him because they are white supremacists. He is the poster boy for white supremacy. Yeah, I don't know if he's is the poster boy. Most of them are white supremacists. I don't think he's the poster boy. I think he just signed up in a sense for the job. I think the poster boy is the puppeteers behind him. So yeah, in a sense, I get what you're saying. He's the puppet boy, but he's definitely not pulling the strings, right? He's like, oh, that's what I need to do. Okay, as most presidents are. So skipping down, let's see. You say, Cindy, who authored the third strike law? Well, we know that Joe Biden had a lot to do with it. And there were some Republicans as well. I believe it was Joe Biden that told Clinton, you ain't going far enough. I don't think that's far enough, right? Tougher than the Republicans were at the time. Surname, how you doing? Says, y'all should look up into GESARA. It's an acronym. Thank me later by the national and global events going on. Seems like this is what's happening. Okay. Leslie, how you doing? Says, let's be real. If any of us walk outside right now and got shot, robbed, or assaulted, what would the suspect description probably be? Well, to answer your question like this, crime is about proximity. So if you were around your people, it would probably be somebody who looked like you, right? Now, if you weren't, it could be anybody, but I definitely get what you're saying. And Billy, how you doing? Or Bill, rather. Bill Lacey. Easy says, D, remember DeSantis was talking about creating a police force in Florida that have federal powers and immunity in the name of taking back crime-ridden cities. Yes. And that, again, that's to go on to their tough on crime talking points, right? But it really just means tough on Black people. Let's keep it real. Because we know who the real criminals are, but they don't never talk about them. Okay. Kenny, how you doing? Says Trump is not a dictator. Our past administrators were close to dictators, especially the Biden crew. They're all dictators. I just think that Trump is a little bit more outwitted, right? Biden and them pretend, but they're all dictators. But Trump is just on a whole new level of dictatorship. Maybe it's the tanning solution. I don't know. LaRonda, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. I see I'm behind, but I read your comments. Lana, how you doing? Says, why can't Black people have safe, clean neighborhoods without drugs, gangs, rape, murder, burglaries, and theft, and be in a working class Black neighborhood? Culture is morally bankrupt. We used to have those things, but you also got to remember. See, this is the thing. We also got to give it context, right? It hasn't always been that way. It just hasn't. But, especially when the civil rights movement came into play, we abandoned our neighborhoods, got dilapidated, and then the politicians and a whole host of other people made the neighborhoods devoid of any real resources, and then you usher in crime, right? So yeah, there's a lot to consider. It's not like we just woke up one day and it's like, bam, let's start committing crimes. It's a process. So yeah, I hear what you're saying though, but we should be able to live in those communities and not have that to be an issue. But we also got to talk about the responsibility of the home, right? Parents and the roles that they play in it, right? As I said yesterday, we got to give a damn again. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking in the comments, Demetra, and I'm seeing everybody correcting me on my poppy thing and cocaine. That goes to show you I don't use any kind of illicit drugs like that. So to me, it's all the same type stuff. But thank you guys for, telling me the difference there. It makes me wonder, how do you know? I know you Googled it.
Google what?
Remember how I was saying that like the poppy seeds was cocaine? People are saying, yeah. Oh no, a poppy seed is more heroin and all this other stuff. It's, to me, like I said, I'm not a illicit drug user, whatever the deal is. But for those of you guys that know the difference, God bless you. Thank you for the information. But to me, it's all the same.
Yeah, I mean, and depending on how many poppy seeds you take, if you get a drug test, you can come up dirty, believe it or not.
I used to eat the poppy muffins, and I used to pop during my drug test all the time. I used to pop.
Mackie, how you doing? Says this is a response to all the thug life, quote unquote, imagery from gangster rap that ruined the image of Black men. The imagery makes things dangerous, even for law-abiding Black male. Well, I sure hope they run up into those record labels, the executive suites, and go gaffle them up as well, because they're the ones that are okay with that. In fact, that's the music that they push. So yeah, I can see where you say that, but yeah, then they're not pursuing the right villains, if you will. K-Mac, how you doing? Says it's against the law for you not to have identification on you at all times. Yeah, but if I'm at the house, I'm probably not gonna have no ID on me on my porch, right? But I get what you're saying. I'm at home. Okay, I'm at home.
Yeah, and there is no law that says you have to have ID with you. If that was the case, all the homeless would be locked up.
Which they are trying to do. Scoop, how you doing? And Herschel, how you doing? It says key is to know your rights when it comes to race soldiers. A lot of us use our feelings. That's not law, but let's keep it real too. Even if you know the law, a lot of times the popo is a judge, jury, and executioner, right? So a lot of times it don't matter. Your best bet, as somebody said, is to listen to what they're saying. If it's a citation or a ticket, get that and then go to court and live to see another day, right? That's your best bet. Just reading the comments. See who else I haven't seen. I didn't realize how fast time went. And again, forgive me for being gone. Black Magic, how you doing? Says, okay, heroin is not cocaine. And who thought that?
But here's the point of that. When I'm talking, especially those of you guys that were in the military with me as well. How many of you guys remember Iran-Contra?
Yes.
What was that about? How did the CIA fund their operations for Iran-Contra under the Reagan administration? they used illegal funding and drug money that they seeded in the Black community. Everything goes back to all of this stuff. It's all interconnected through government sanction.
Absolutely. And somebody brought up Project 2025. I mean, if you know anything about Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation, they're like, it didn't matter who was in office. It's a think tank. We want whoever goes to office to implement these things or whatever the case is. So just to kind of put that out there. And Molly was saying hello to your dog. Tony, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sharon, what's going on with you? The Robert Blanc collection. How you doing? He says from B More. How you doing? How you doing? Ray the King. How you doing? Says shut up with all that Project 2025 ish. It doesn't matter if the Democrats or Republicans. We always being discriminated against and criminalized just a different day. Come on now. I should have read your comment. I really should have. What sans the shut up part. Mega Black Essence. How you doing? Says my DC. Brother and sis must proclaim your nationality now.
Yes. I want to sanction Sunlight. She's been on the Savvy Sab show. And, we have jurisdiction on Sunlight. So we're going to start giving jurisdiction and illicit, straight promotion. Anytime you're on Savvy Sab Sunlight, we need to get a fee, a cut.
What? Blueberry Hill, thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. Says we should all go to South Africa. Ben, very nice place to go. It's you. How you doing? He says Trump is a businessman. Oh yeah, all day long. Don't you ever forget, right? Jeff, how you doing? Says everywhere white people go, they create beautiful neighborhoods with no crime. Black people, the opposite. You better stop. You better stop. And boy, I ain't finna entertain it. Not today.
Have you guys noticed though? Have you guys noticed that, okay, we are now in an epidemic of private prisons, right? And Demetrius says it all the time. You need at least a 90 whatever percent occupancy to turn a profit. Isn't it kind of strange that when the private prison thing started taking off, that's when they started to legalize weed and stuff and let that stuff be handled? And notice that a lot of people who think, oh, I could smoke weed in public and I can do this and I could ride around it within my car. These are the people that are getting hemmed up, and not in general, but I'm just saying it's almost parallel at how, to me, it seems like it's just a trap to incarcerate Black people into these private industrial prisons.
Yes, indeed. And I see Sister Sunlight, Brother Damon, and who else did I see? I just skipped down. And hello to everybody. I'm sorry, tomorrow I'll do a better job at acknowledging everybody. But on the way out the door, I got to. Jeff says it's good to see you are using white technology to make money. Y'all use Black people to make money. What you talking about? How you think you got the money? Most of y'all have slaves on plantations. Y'all didn't make that money. Y'all used us to make the money, and y'all still use us to make money. And most of the technology you talking about came from our people. So what are you talking about? See, I was going to let it ride. I was going to let it slide. But y'all always bumping your gums and your thumbs about things you have no knowledge of. And the problem is, and I get it, y'all used to stealing from everybody. Y'all don't even know what you stole no more. Y'all just wake up thinking it's yours. There ain't nothing original to you. Like I said, and I checked, the only thing that's original to you, and you probably got a couple more things, is mayonnaise. That's the only thing y'all can claim is mayonnaise. We don't want that. You can have it. But what I need you to do, and I know you're trolling, but I'll oblige, go get you some education, sir. Ma'am, whatever. Get you some education and start with my people, which I'm talking to you, your people, enslaved people, because y'all was lazy as hell and made a copious amount of money. And when you were not able to use my people on those plantations anymore, the government gave y'all reparations for being lazy, thieves, rapists, and everything you can think of. Oh, and don't you ever forget, too, your people are the original deadbeat baby daddies, because y'all left all those babies in Black women on the plantation that did not want to be with y'all funk asses, okay? So I need you to remember your history. Before you come on here talking about what we using from the white man, we ain't using nothing from the white man that didn't already belong to black people first. You're welcome. Anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time. Will I be by myself? I don't know. Anyway, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Peace.